All right, welcome to Wednesday Words. We are back in Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, and we are in a section talking about God and possessions and treasures and generosity. And we're actually going to pick up with a verse that we left off with last time. And it's verse 21 of chapter 6. And Jesus says, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." And then he says, "The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. So if the light within you is darkness, how deep is that darkness?" Now, I don't know if you're like me, but I've read that a bunch of times, and I've always just kind of gotten through that and wondered, what in the world is Jesus talking about? Especially when we're talking about treasures in heaven. What does this mean? And part of the issue for us as modern day readers is that this is a cultural illustration that is very distant from our time. But we can kind of begin to understand the picture that he is painting by simply understanding that the eye that Jesus is referring to is really the metaphorical window, or a metaphorical window, that allows light to pass back and forth. And so we can understand that if our eyes are good, or if they are healthy, then light enters the whole body. We perceive that light and we can see. If the eye is bad, and if we cannot see, like if I close my eyes, suddenly there's darkness within my body. I can't perceive any light. So we understand that picture. What's not as clear is, what is Jesus talking about here in relation to treasure in heaven? Well, notice that what we talked about last week is Jesus is juxtaposing heaven and earth when it comes to our treasures, and now he is juxtaposing light and darkness. And when you look at that Greek word, as far as your eye being good, when you look at that Greek word, healthy or good, it means generosity or kindness, being generous to people. And if you look at what the word means when it says that the eye is bad, that means greedy or stingy. So I like what this scholar, Jonathan Pennington, said. He said, if you were going to write this, paraphrase it, "The eye is the lamp of the body. Therefore, if your eye is whole and generous, then your whole body will be enlightened. But if your eye is evil and greedy, then your whole body will be darkened." Here's, I think, what Jesus is saying, is that when we are generous, when our treasures are based on eternal things, we have eyes to see. There's clarity in our life. We are free from our greed and our selfishness, and we have wisdom, we have light for our path, and we can see clearly. And we know this also from experience, that when we are greedy, when we are stingy, when we are holding on to things, and it is all about ourselves and our selfishness, our worlds get smaller and smaller and smaller, and we don't have light for our path. We cannot see clearly. Jesus gives this metaphor right after saying, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." And I just want to remind you of this little note, that it is our treasure that leads our heart, not the other way around. Our heart doesn't lead our treasure. The treasure leads our heart. That's why Jesus says, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So I just want us to think today, and I'm asking myself the same question: where is our treasure? What are we treasuring? And what we treasure, there our heart will be. So let's treasure the eternal things and the things of the kingdom, and let's be generous.